ICE is going to be raiding schools, hospitals, all sensitive areas in the United States that were once off limits are now on limits for ICE raids. Now you might be thinking, but Shayna, I'm a US citizen, but Shayna, this doesn't apply to me. No, you're not safe either. And I know there's a lot of single moms that follow me, and guess what? Your kids are not safe either. I don't even have time to get all dressed up and cutesy for you. I need to be getting ready for school. But this is so important that I want to break this down as soon as possible. So, hi, for those of you who are new here, my name is Shayna. I'm a journalist. I talk a lot about decentering men and child-free living. If any of that sounds like a vibe, please like, share, and subscribe now more than ever, because there's so much that is happening so quickly that I need to figure out how to make time to share all of this new information and how it connects to history past, current history, and what this is like implying for the future. Also, if you're curious about how you can start your freelance writing or freelance journalism, whatever journey, there's a link below that'll help you. There's a link below to my Substack that has all of the information on that. Please get your money up in whatever way possible. Like, you don't have to freelance full-time like me, but like, get your money up in whatever way possible. Let's just dive in. So in this Al Jazeera article, it leads with Trump rescinds guidance protecting sensitive areas from immigration. I'm just going to point out a couple of key points within this article, and then we're going to have a tangent, and then we're going to have a hard tangent. Hard, not as in like a hard left turn, but hard is going to be a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. Okay, we're just going to start at the very beginning. The administration of newly inaugurated United States President Donald Trump has revoked long-standing protections, barring immigration raids on schools, hospitals, churches, and other sensitive areas. Now, what are sensitive areas other than what we have just listed? These are places where guns are not supposed to be allowed. These are places that are supposed to be safe zones, so that way, like, the fear of law enforcement doesn't stop people from getting the help that they need. Now, those protections are gone. According to government estimates, as many as 11 million undocumented people live in the United States, many of them cornerstones in their families and communities. Let's also, it's very important to know that these 11 million undocumented people are also paying taxes. They are paying for these institutions that are then like billions, I think. I will put the number wherever right here, but I'm pretty sure it's billions of dollars in taxes these undocumented people have been putting into the same system that is now corralling them, putting them in detention centers, prisons, whatever, and then shipping them off to whatever country, if they even get shipped to whatever country. I have theories on that. And this is the last piece from this article I'm going to read. Criminals will no longer be able to hide in America's schools and churches to avoid arrest, the statement said. The Trump administration will not tie the hands of our brave law enforcement, and instead trusts them to use common sense. I really want that to sink in. One, at what point has law enforcement ever actually used common sense by and large in the United States? And two, criminals will no longer be able to hide in America's schools and churches to avoid arrest. Doesn't that sound an awful lot like, oh, there's Hamas in the schools? Oh, there's Hamas in the hospitals? Oh, there's Hamas in this baby's crib? Now, we'll dive into that in a hot second, but we're going to dive into this handy dandy first. So this is not unprecedented. None of the things that I'm talking about right now these are not unprecedented times. These are just new to a larger, wider demographic of people. Now let's break down a little bit about what this can look like, what these ICE raids can look like, or what the justification are for an ICE raid happening at a school near you, anywhere near you. That could be, there's the potential that a parent or two parents are undocumented, and so they take the child in order to draw out said parent. There's a possibility that that said child also does not have documentation, so they just come in to the preschool classroom and take said child. There's a possibility that grandma might be undocumented, and so they're like, you know what's the easiest way, like bringing flies out? You take the honey, you take the baby. Oh my God, Shayna, that's so extreme. It's happened before in history. history that the United States is actively a part of. Let's just talk about a few examples real quick. One, kids being taken from their parents for the socio-political gain of other people or for the political beliefs of that's literally what happened throughout slavery. But also now we're diving into some of the women's rights conversations that we've had, because these children were bred intentionally by the US government using forms of torture. And then they took those children away, never to be seen again. This is what the country was founded on. So now it's just happening to more people, and it will affect even more people than the people that you just kind of currently have in your head. But we'll dive into that later. Next, and this is in more recent history, kids being put in detention camps for being in need and brown is also a fundamental part of US history. Did y'all forget that this happened a couple years ago? Did y'all forget that a lot of these kids still have not been reunited with their families? We have also put many of these children on trial without their parents, without interpreters, given nothing but a comfort toy in front of participating adults. This isn't new. These kids, regardless of if English is their first, second, or third language, they can't fathom that they are on trial for their basic human rights. Yeah, we're back. And then finally, in the most recent history, our law enforcement has participated in, and we, the United States government, has funded atrocities against humanity, including hundreds of thousands of women and children in Gaza. That was just practice for what's going to be happening at home. But Shayna, I'm a citizen. I don't know how this applies to me. You've been talking about how this applies to all those other people. The government don't care. The government don't care. As we are in the year of our Lord, Viola Davis, 2024, 5. I don't know what time it is, arguably, it doesn't even matter. There have been at least 70 United States citizens that have been accidentally, whoopsies, deported because of racial profiling in the United States. That means that if you look a little bit too brown, if you look a little bit too Latino, if your child looks a little bit too you don't belong here, if you speak a language that is not the predominant culture in the United States, aka English, now there's an argument that there are currently more Latinos in the United, or like there's currently more like Latin people in the United States than white people. Who's to say? That's not the point of this video. But if you're a little bit too other right now, that number is going to go up. That number is going to skyrocket. That 70% that's going to be a blip in the water, because there are no parameters. It is open season. Now, do I have answers? I have canonically said on this page that I am not a person with answers. I am a person who brings forth questions, and we are certainly going to be needing more. Oh no, there's a burp. 1 second. Okay, I got it. I didn't want to do that to you guys. As I was saying, we have reached a point in United States current history that answers are going to be significantly more life-changing, more life-saving than questions. So do I have answers? As of right now, no. And even if I did, honestly, I don't know if I could put them on this specific platform, because I don't know when and I don't know how. It's probably going to be Patreon, because there's going to be increasingly sensitive conversations that are going to be happening as this administration bulldozes through everybody's human rights. So I'm probably going to have to make a Patreon. And I will keep you all updated on when that happens. Why am I making a Patreon? Because safe communities is going to be the answer. Take this time that we have, these 30 minutes that we have, arguably it is now 45 seconds that we have, and invest in your communities. Figure out who are the safe people in these communities. Okay, so this is very much giving Nazi Germany. I've been talking about this. It's just a matter of time, unfortunately, for a minute now, but it's giving. It's giving. Because the hospitals and the churches were not safe there either. But people tried. Individuals tried to be safe spaces to other individuals. People need to figure out who are the safe spaces around them, regardless of if this is your immediate demographic of danger or not. But also, as I've spoken about on many an occasion, figuring out who is safe, not just because they're a woman. I have made video after video talking about not all women are safe. And not just because they fit into a certain racial demographic. Latinos for Trump came out in droves to vote against their own rights. And now, yes, there is a F around and find out season that is happening for those people. But also a lot of people have not learned their lesson at this point. And even if they have learned that lesson, I don't necessarily know if, and this is not about the white women or Latino thing. This is not about that. This is in general. Find people that have the skill set to be a safety point for you and your family and your community. And y'all, this is not the time to be having children. This is, oh, but I want to be a mom. Lock it up. Chastity belt that thing. This could be, listen, I love kids. I don't want none. I love kids. Even if I wanted them in this current, I would never. The amount of trauma that these kids are going to be going through, watching their classmates get arrested, never to be seen again. Really? You want kids that bad that you would potentially put your child in this? Mind you, they're already getting shot left, right, up, and down at school. And now they're adding this into the mix. This is a fruit salad of disaster for these babies. So ladies and people with uteruses, after you dip yourself and create an underwear of cement so that way ain't nobody entering there, I'm sorry. Everybody deserves to have a fun time by themselves. And like, you know, if you have a partner, I'm just saying, just don't. Now's also not the time to be talking to men. I know some of y'all are married. I'd love that for you, I guess. But like, this is not time just to be casually talking to men. This is not the time. Sorry. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. If you also would like to scream into the ether, feel free to comment. I will be sharing more news as it comes my way. And be safe out there.